Dr. Mahathir has spoken about the gold dinar. I introduced the matter of the gold dinar to Dr. Mahathir. I presented it to him for the first time. Dr. Mahathir has not minted one single gold dinar. In the introduction, when the idea of how the gold dinar is going to be used, talking about bilateral trading, etc., this is exactly how the gold dinar is not going to happen. This is not how it's going to happen. This is how it's not going to happen. Because Dr. Mahathir made two errors. The number one is to think that the Central Bank of Malaysia is going to bring the gold dinar forward. The gold dinar and the central banks are like water and fire. You cannot mix without eliminating the other. Impossible. Bank Negara is the stamp of riba in your forehead. Is a diabolical organization. Is hardly imaginable an organization which is more haram. Is riba, but not the riba, is the riba al-kabir. Is the organization of riba, is how they allow you to become independent. The whole idea of Merdeka, you celebrate every year, is too early. Merdeka not yet. You haven't gained it yet. You're still under their grip, completely. Look, when Obama is doing these bailouts of $3 trillion US, who do you think is paying for it? Yes. You are, exactly. Who said you are? Yes, you are. Every ringgit that you hold in your pocket is a little dollar. It's a miniature dollar. Because the central bank that you call Bank Negara, and every time you have the national anthem at night, there is a little picture of the central bank. So you can shed a tear for your lovely country, which flag is like the United States flag. And then you can get emotional about ta-ra-ta-ta, ta-ra-ta-ra-ta-ta-ta-ta. This is all an invention, for God's sake. They have made you hate the foreigners, your brothers of Indonesia. They are your brothers. Ethnically, they are the same as you. And they are foreign to you. Malaysia was lines like Algeria and Morocco, lines in the desert, drawn by drunk Frenchmen, like Churchill invented Saudi Arabia and Jordan for you. Countries completely divided at the whim of these colonial masters that left half of southern Thailand, who are your brothers, in a foreign country. They are not Thais, they are your people. And they gave little Brunei because of the oil to somebody else. And they divided and they rule and they told you, brainwashing left, right and center. They remove your identity, which is an Islamic identity, and replace it for a nationalistic identity of a country totally invented. Like being Iraqi nationalist. It's unbelievable. Iraq doesn't exist, or Kuwait or UAE. This is Arabistan, the land of the Arabs. Hijaz. Because we are one nation, not 23. And there is no nationalism in Islam, like there is no tribalism in Islam. And this is the very basis of the deen of Islam. Your ringgit is part of that fiction. The brilliant of these post-colonial powers is that the very element that it was your prison, they made you proud of it. So you look at the ringgit saying, oh my God, we are free. Without realizing, no, this is what guarantees your slavery. Because the bailouts of Obama are being paid by you. Because the way of getting out of this crisis is by printing more money. And the United States expects the rest of the world to also absorb these newly created dollars. The only people who have complained is China. The Republic of China, not the Islamic Republic of China. the Communist Republic of China. The Muslim nations, not a word. But China has complained because over the last 20 years, due to hard work and hard labor, they collected $1 trillion US, the largest amount of US dollars outside the United States. And they saw in front of their eyes how the United States have created 3 new trillion out of thin air. They say, hold on, this is not fair. I have to work so hard, you just touch the button and you have the money. What is this? This is unacceptable. And they are the only people now talking about the US dollar has to be gone. And we have to replace it by another currency. And they're trying now to put the yuan instead of the US dollar and so on. The Muslim people, silent. What is Bank Negara saying? Silent. No, you know what we are doing here? They are inconceivable. More bailouts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has declared war on riba. It means He has declared war on this system. War, harb. It's a war of Allah against the system. It's not a crisis, it's a war. This is not a little crisis of capitalism. Capitalism is a crisis. But these great events that they are taking place now is nothing but the manifestation of Allah's power. For the mu'minun, this is a great opportunity. For the munafiqun, this is a big problem. And the munafiqun will try to do anything conceivable to prevent this crisis. And the idea of clearing this crisis in the form of bailouts is nothing but the proof of their nifaq. This is what you have, and this is what they are selling to you. And these are the big issues of today. And your ulama, what are your ulama doing? Busy Islamizing banking. They've done that, now they want to Islamize the credit cards, the futures, etc., etc. They're in another planet. In another planet. In places like Kelantan, where the gold dinar is now happening, slowly, a little trickle of light is coming. The fact that some people are saying no more. And some people in the academic world are saying, I am fed up of teaching Islamic economics and Islamic banking because I know it's haram. Because I have said this thing in every single university in Malaysia. Not all of them, but most. And I have not heard one single professor of Islamic banking saying to me, no, it's actually not haram. I have not heard one. Everybody knows. You are teaching something which is insane. It's absurd. And you still continue. Why? Because it's your job? Then change your job. Because look, if you make a mistake doing mathematics, doesn't matter. But you are talking about the deen of Islam. Do not trade. There is not enough wealth in the world to trade. Giving a wrong misrepresentation of Islam for any amount of money. Or else, stand with your colleagues who probably think exactly the same thing as you do, that this thing is completely dodgy, and let's build the matter again. But away from this fantasy of trying to Islamize capitalism. Let's try to rebuild the mu'amalat of Islam, the model of Islam, because it does exist. And understanding mu'amalat as a model is fundamental. You see, it is important to understand that this thing that we call sunnah is a living phenomenon, is alive. Over the last 50 years, under the tendency of an Islam which call itself modernist, that is the people who have brought us Islamic banking and Islamic stock exchange and Islamic constitutions. These same people, they came with the idea that the Sunnah is the Hadith, and they created a whole methodology about Hadith. But the Hadith is only part of the Sunnah, because the Sunnah is everything that Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did. Everything. What he said and what he did. To understand the Hadith, you need the Amal. You need the contextual reality in which these sentences were given. If you remove the Mu'amalat, if you remove the Amal, and you only take the sentences, this is the path to corruption. Because I can take any sentences and I can interpret it any way I want. So if I read, and Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that he saw Ahmed even something giving a camel for 20 dinars in the souk of Medina. So I say, well, dinar is like ringgit. So that's it, Islamic. Then souk is like Carrefour. So Islamic Carrefour. Tick. So you can just completely ignore the terminology and place it in a complete contextual frame. And this is the basis in which we start Islamizing. Is what I call Hadith self-service. You go to the Hadith literature, which you can access through internet nowadays, and you say, click the word, pick up the stuff, and then you say, well, I want this Hadith, this one no, this one half, this one 3/4, and then you just pick it all up, mix it up, stretch it, twist it round, like a spaghetti, then you can do macaroni or fusilli, depending what you want. Then you add a little bit of ingredients there. You elevate it to Islamic principles, and then you start Islamizing left, right, and center. You say, you tell me, what do you want to Islamize? Whiskey? I will Islamize whiskey for you. There must be something in whiskey which is good. So you start from there. And then you start going backwards. And you say, well, I'm sure Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said something about something which is good in the whiskey. And all you have to do is to do the matchup. Islamization done for you. Do you think I'm exaggerating? Go and read it for yourselves. The books of Omar Chapra, Islamizing the dollar and Islamizing the monetary system, are based on that. Are written for 14 years old. I remember in those days when I was reading this material on Islamic economics, it was hilarious. I mean, I read it like somebody reads a comic book. It's insane. The problem is that the material written in this kind of comic manner has become the basis of the PhDs of the next generation of Islamic economists here. And then you have another twisting into the matter, something which is completely wrong, then turn into facts for the next generation to Islamize then, credit cards. And then once you Islamize the credit cards, then that is factual to the fact that you can then Islamize futures. And then once you have futures, you Islamize interest. Because, why? To be bothered anyway. We just Islamize interest and we don't have to be worried about it. And it's done. Interest has been Islamized. Finally, the final boundary is already covered.